So, for everyone who saw this week and it went viral very quickly. Very quickly. Reds announcer, Fox Sports broadcaster, Thom Brennaman, had a little bit of a boo-boo. A big boo-boo on air. He was caught, and of course, we're in the age of everything's recorded and everything, it was quickly uploaded, but he was caught coming back from a commercial break, and for some reason didn't realize that the mics were still on, which, he's not, for everyone out there who's like, oh, he's an announcer, who knows, this man is not a rookie whatsoever. No. Like, he's been calling Reds games. I believe he calls the NFL on Fox for either their big Fox affiliate or just, like, they're in Cincinnati, so the Bengals. He's been announcing for a very long time, right? And I was telling Jason before the show started, I was like, I grew up to him and Tim McCarver. Like, Joe Buck came later.
Yes.
I grew up to him and Tim McCarver on Fox's Saturday Game of the Week. It was him and Tim McCarver. So I'm like, he's been a big name, at least announcing-wise, for a while. So there's no excuse to not know that, hey, these mics are always recording. You never know when you're going to come back from break, or at least you should have that in your head.
Yes.
Because, maybe the assistant doesn't count you down or he's not paying attention, and then you're back.
Yeah.
And he was caught saying some things that we're not going to repeat.
Yeah.
But,
repeat it.
Excuse me.
He said...
Excuse me, sir.
He said... they're telling us to say it. So
all right, man, let me let this fly.
He said that...
I fake it. Repeat it. Well, he actually said...
He said... This is where you'll hear the...
But he used a homophobic slur, and he was caught, on air, and it immediately went viral. And then I believe the timeline of events was he said it went viral. As it's going viral, his producers and
they're all like, what is going on?
So then they hear it, and in the middle of the game, they're like, yo, get off. You're done.
Go home.
You're done. You're done for tonight and for however else long. And the thing that's funny, because he ended up, of course, which is, we've had so many iconic home run calls. We've had the, I believe it's Joe Buck with, the Kirk Gibson call. And then also there's the Vince Scully version of the Joe Gibson, Kirk Gibson call. There's Bonds passing Hank Aaron. There's so many iconic home run calls, right? This might be my favorite. This honestly might be my favorite because literally as he's apologizing on air before he's told to leave, Nick Castellanos hits a homer. And during his heartfelt apology, he's like, I'm a man of faith. I know that people know that. Balls in the air. He's like, long fly ball, home run. 4-0 Reds. I think people know. And I'm like, why did you call that? What are you doing?
It's like, I really want to apologize. Oh my God, double play!
But yeah, so I made a mistake. And it was surreal. I have never seen anything like that ever in my life, to where someone does something wrong, immediately gets in trouble, and immediately gets taken off the air. Like, usually, I know this
it'd take a day or two.
Right, and someone will catch it, and then it'll end up...
because everything, like you said, everything's recorded.
Right.
Someone was like, what?
Viral. Thank you. Made my day. And, there's just so many things about this that are incredible, but I want to ask you, do you think he gets his job back?
Do I think? That's tough with how the day of what we live in now. I honestly hope he does, because like I said, we are human. We do make mistakes. I think what he said was insensitive, and I'm not going to sit there and say that I'm not going to give a sermon of what. I just believe that he's made a mistake. Do I think he should have the rest of the year off? Of course.
Right.
But I don't think he should have to be fired for something like this. Do I think his apology was a heartfelt apology? You're doing it on the spur of the moment because you got caught. Mm-hmm. No, but do I think that that people should forgive. Of course, I think people should forgive and move on. But I also think that he should take this as a learning opportunity. Right. That what you say, even though he could have just been making a stupid comment, it still is hurtful towards other people, regardless if they hear it or not. You are still belittling someone by saying that.
Right.
So I hope he is at least it's in consideration that he should have his job back next year. But you did it, dude. It's
can't take it back.
Can't take it back.
I think he's done.
Do you?
I think he's done.
Well, you got to remember, the Reds had Marge Schott.
Right, I know.
It was
I know. And for people who don't know Marge Schott, she's notorious for one being, for lack of a better term, a hard ass. Also, she was an extremely racist person.
No, not extremely. Not extremely. No, you look it up in the dictionary. Her picture's right.
Racist? It's just her like, hey.
She's like,
like, but my grandpa would tell me stories about how like racist she was, and I was like, "There's no way that they would play for this person." Like, and he was like, "No, they played."
Guess what? If I'm getting paid, I don't care if you want to pay me.
So, yeah, the Reds' history is kind of murky. I just feel like the main thing is not technically what he said. I think it's just today's day and time. I think they would be fools to somehow be like, oh, he was gone for the year. He went through his what do they call it? Tolerance training or
whatever. The training.
Insensitivity training. Yeah, he went through all that training. We feel like he's served his debt and he's back. They would lose their minds on the internet.
Well, and that's where I don't know.
The 4 people who watch the Reds.
That's the thing. I think if you gave it enough time, like, hey, this is what he did, then maybe, like, you know what, yeah, everyone deserves a second chance.
Right.
But honestly, that's me thinking he's going to have a second chance. Do I honestly think he's going to come back? No. Just like you said, I don't think that. Unless we can talk about another person on the Reds and some cleats. If he wore a pair of these, then I would let him back.
We can get there, but just to wrap up, my final thought on Brennaman is I think he needs to, my best advice to him is to lay low, don't explain yourself, and just shut up and hope that people will just let it go.
You're in distance learning right now.
Yeah, like
really distant.
Just shut up. I think anytime people try to do the whole apology, but let me explain stuff, it never comes off as genuine.
Because you're, and that's how we are. We want to make sure that this is what I meant.
No,
dude, no. Yeah. It doesn't matter. You may have meant that. You may have not have meant to be negative, but guess what? It still happened. It's still hurtful towards anybody that has been called that or whatever.
Right.
And it's not right.
And, because I had already seen it, when it was trending, there was a lot of Reds fans who were like, I've watched this team for over 20 years, but I'm also, I'm gay, and if they allow him to do this, I will never watch it. You already know where it's going, so I'm like, I just feel like they can't. And this is a teachable moment for anyone out there who's in media, entertainment, whatever. Shut up. All right, when you're doing your job, shut up. All right, okay? Because the sad thing about this is, yes, what he said was wrong. However, he probably said this 8 million times before, and the mics were never on, or at least, he knew, we ain't back at commercial yet. Hey, XYZ, people laughed or whatever, because you gotta, take into account, if he's comfortable with saying that, that means that people around him are comfortable with hearing it.
Exactly.
And agreeing. So if you want to get to the root of the problem, it's not just him.
No, of course.
However, he's going to take all the bullets because you said it. But there's a bigger issue with that, and who knows? Because the one thing I've always thought about when it came to baseball, for some reason we always lean to football when it comes to, like, who's the gay football player, right? Basketball, there was the one dude who played for the Celtics.
No, the Nets. Jason Williams.
No. It was Jason Williams?
I thought wasn't it Jason Williams? I swear that was his name. Because there's two different Jason Williams.
Yeah, there's two different Jason Williams. But him, and then every time it gets to baseball, it's always like, there's nothing. And I'm like, I don't think, there's no way.
No one's ever said, hey.
Right.
Because obviously athletes have to have their persona.
Right. But I'm like, I'm quite sure 32 teams, there's a few gay players out there.
There's a bunch on the Dodgers.
You know what? I'm glad they threw at Mike Trout, actually.